offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love to connect with you. We get a lot of calls every week, every day. Folks calling in want to be connected with an attorney. They're wanting to get pre-approved for a loan. Talking about William Crowley, seeing if he can update their credit scores. Lots of ways we can help you here, of course, on the Consumer Quarterback Show, but it's up to you to reach out. 813-670-7372. Save our hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. Call or text that line. It's an off-air number, and we'll make sure we get right back to you. ConsumerQB.com, of course, is the website. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice that we want to help you win in any marketplace. You know, an informed consumer is a smart and savvy consumer, and they're going to save money. They're going to save time, and they're going to save a lot of hassle in today's crazy environment. You see a lot of the different scams out there, Craigslist scams, so many things. We want to protect you from that, and we got a great lineup for you today here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, we got as well, we're going to talk a little bit about the funding that would go towards providing modernizing vehicles in expanding streetcar service areas in USF and Tampa International. So you've got Tampa City has received $67.3 million toward the expansion of its downtown streetcar project. Pretty cool investment into Tampa Bay. Feel-good story of the day as well. Police officer adopts a girl that he comforted during a welfare call. So that's a really cool part of our show, our feel-good story of the day. And this segment is brought to you by Discovery Golf Cars, and a.k.a. the Golf Car Depot. If you haven't looked at buying a golf cart, talk to them. They've got some really cool deals right now. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, pre-owned and used available golf cars from the Golf Car Depot. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you so you can take them up on those offers, special offers and incentives. We've got a great lineup for you today as well coming up. Just let me tell you about a couple of hot listings. 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a gorgeous property on Clearwater Beach. Owners motivated. We just did a $5,000 price reduction as well. 1010 Bay Esplanade, 3,200 square feet, just shy of 3,200 square feet. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage, private apartment, and a 3rd-story sun deck overlooking the beautiful dolphin-filled waters and sugar sands of the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. KW.com. All right, we got Millie Athanason back in studio. Attorney Millie Athanason, that is. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Hey, great to see you. I love your necklace today.
Thank you.
And if you're watching our TV show version, you can see that. It's Apple, Amazon, Roku, YouTube, Facebook. We're in 85 different outlets, as well as, of course, the radio, where you're maybe hearing our voice here as well. But, yeah, welcome back in.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought I'd talk a little bit today about what to do if you're in a car accident.
What to do if you're in a car accident. Okay, personal injury law.
Yes.
Motor vehicles, they can cause accidents. I've got a young 15-year-old daughter that I'm driving with, and it's a fun time. Let's put it that way. It's a fun time sitting in that other seat. But hey, there's a lot of scenarios that come out there. Young kids, older people. My wife got hit by someone months ago. It was an older gentleman that probably shouldn't be behind the wheel. These accidents happen. Millie Athanason, local attorney, going to talk to you about how steps to do, things to do within the first 14 days. There's some critical time pieces there as well. So attorney Millie Athanason here in studio. Let's go to the phones right now. We got Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, our friend, longtime friend of the program, Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man. Welcome
Hello,
back.
everybody. Hey, you sound great. I'm glad you're back. Welcome back.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
James did a fantastic job while you were gone. I got to tell you, very, very enjoyable.
He sure
you're
does.
talking about how far we go back. I was listening to the show yesterday with Matt DeMaio, and we're talking 2015. So we've been doing this a long time.
Absolutely, that's right. Yeah, he was. He did some cool stuff with his memory expert and success strategies. He did. So yeah, that was back over at the other place in South Gandy there, but. But yeah, man, longtime friend of the program, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. lots of good things happening in the real estate space, Fred.
Sure is. I was talking to you at the break, and realistically, there's so much business right now in the home improvement business, not just the screen business. Everybody's jumping, and this is probably one of the only good things that we can experience based on this super virus, problem that we're dealing with right now. But, it's going to slow down. It'll probably slow down, April, May, June, possibly back to a normal pace, because it's far from a normal pace right now. It's very hard to even keep up with all of the leads. I have 3 or 4 different lead sources, and just to run the leads and get the jobs measured, I'm 2 to 3 weeks out right now, personally.
Wow.
And there's a couple other guys in the office doing the same thing as I am, and of course we're all in the same position. And it's not just Tampa Screens; it's every screen enclosure company out there. I do have friendly competitors, and they try to give me a few leads if they can't handle them, and we work fairly well with some of them. But it's just amazing what's going on. I was telling you, I learned earlier today there's 197 jobs on the books right now with Tampa Screens.
Super.
They're not all mine. But if they were, I'd be driving a Bentley, not a Buick.
Not a Buick. That's nice. That's funny.
But it's a very good time to be in the home improvement business. People are sitting home, looking at their properties and saying, what can we do to make this a little better than it looks right now, since we're going to spend at least 6 or 8 more months at this property. Unfortunately, it takes 3 to 4 months to get a permit right now, which
right.
which is really amazing. It shouldn't take that long. The counties and the city government, they really should speed up that process. It can be sped up.
What do you think would be the solution there, Fred?
Well, they'd have to bring in more people. It's just that simple. I work Hillsborough County, Pasco County, and the city of Tampa specifically, and I can get a permit in the city of Tampa a whole lot faster than I can in Hillsborough County. So why is that? Because they're more advanced. They brought in more people. They're able to do it.
Right.
So if the city of Tampa can do it, let's get the others up and running. I've got a project going at my house here, and I'm probably looking at February, March on an installation. Permit is going to be probably released around February. It's been applied for since December 1st. It's way too long.
Yeah, it sure is. If you just joined us, we're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He builds these beautiful in-between spaces. It's kind of on your way out, the AC out to the back door, and that beautiful lanai. Sometimes could even be on the front porch, of course. You got the lanai, the front porch, the different spaces in the home. But we love this area of a screened-in area on our real estate properties. When you look at that, the marketability, it's going to improve the pricing, and it's going to help the property sell faster as well. Talk about some of the advancements that have recently come about in the screen industry, Fred.
Well, what I am selling quite a lot of right now are the pool screen enclosures with a panoramic view. Panoramic view means basically they're eliminating a lot of the uprights and the horizontal chair rails, which is very nice. This idea came out, I'm going to guess, maybe 8 to 10 years ago, and people wanted this. So the engineering obviously wasn't there then, and it's been approved over the past, I'd say, 5 or 6 years. I'm guessing at these numbers. But once it was approved, some of the products changed. There's some beefier uprights on the corners and in the center, and a beam at the top. And of course, there's a different fabric that you have to roll in that stretches better. But this look is just phenomenal. It's you sit in your pool and you look out. Depending on the backdrop of the rear yard, if you're looking out over a lake, you're sitting in the pool looking out. Very little interruption with the uprights and the chair rails.
Yeah,
and I like it. So we're getting calls. I guess I'm taking 2 to 3 a week personally on changing out the cage. Cage is 12 years old. Let's get a new cage. We want panoramic view. There's nothing wrong with the 12-year-old cage. It's they don't like the uprights.
John, let's bring the website
horizontal.
up. I think it's Tampa Screens. What's the website again, Fred? I want to bring it up on our screen here.
It should be right under Tampa Screens and Aluminum.com.
Tampa Screens and Aluminum.com. Should be able to find it there. But yeah, when you're describing it, it's the advancements that have come through, the innovations with, as you said, the panoramic view, less uprights, because you do not want to disturb that lake view or that river view or that ocean front view. and that's what's going to make it that much more appealing for the buyer.
That's correct. And I can go back. I'm going to go back about 15 years, and I know a guy that was in the business, and he built one at his house this way without engineering, without a permit, just to experiment to see how it would work out. And I looked at it, I said, this is beautiful. And from that point on, you couldn't do it because you couldn't get the engineering or permits to do it. And then once that was approved by engineering, it just started to sell like hotcakes. And that guy, he actually took his down because he could not permit it because he was, trying to do everything by the book, but he wanted to experiment to see how it would look.
Yeah.
And what type of extrusions, uprights, and beams would be required to support the large span. So, the idea has been around a long time, and geez, I like it. If I had a pool, which I don't have a pool, and I don't have the best backdrop, it's fairly nice, but I would still probably opt for that panoramic view at the house here because it's just such an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. TampaScreens.com. Talking with Fred Muth here, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and a lot of the pool builders, are they including that in the pool build, or is that where they would contact you?
No, that's an option. The guy that sells the pool and the package will offer the option to the buyer.
Okay.
And it's an upgraded option. It's an expensive option. So, and again, a lot of people make the decision based on the backdrop of the property. In some cases, I can eliminate the chair rail and give you a little more open view, but I still can't span between the uprights more than 8 feet, with or without the chair rail.
Okay.
So, let's say it's a small cage. In a small cage, we end up with 2 or 3 uprights on the back, no chair rail, and your backdrop is not that beautiful. That's probably the way to go, rather than spend that extra money.
Interesting.
But you get properties up, Avila and places like that, and we do obviously a lot of high-end homes. The backdrop goes down to the lake. That's where they sell. They sell very well in that area.
Very good. And did I see something on the website about windows as well? Are you doing windows now?
Well, we can. I don't bid a lot of the window work, the glass work. I'm so busy with the screens, and the screens are a little more, cut and dry, basically, simple. When you get involved with glass windows in our industry, there's a lot of permit issues that come into play. And let's say somebody wants a glass room.
Yeah.
If I give them the price for a screen room, I tell them they can possibly take the number and multiply it by 7, and that's approximately where you're going to be based on the fact that a glass room typically turns into habitable space. And when you have habitable space, your HVAC is now required, electric, a lot of other inspections, and obviously the concrete needs to go in. It's a little different because they have to put the vapor barrier in underneath, and in most cases the footers are larger than the standard. So it's sort of complicated. And if you drive around the Tampa Bay area, you really don't see a lot of these glass rooms, sunrooms, they call them, or whatever.
Right.
For that reason. However, I can sell a vinyl room where instead of glass windows, we can provide a sliding vinyl panel, which does not make this room habitable space.
Mm-hmm.
So the permit issues are altogether different. It's basically a screen room with vents, with vinyl sliding vents. And a lot of people opt for this. The vents are nice. I've sold 4,000 to 5,000 jobs like this in my career in this business.
Very interesting.
And it's just a much easier solution to try to get a room that's somewhat enclosed. Obviously, it's not going to be a burglar-proof room.
Yep.
Anybody can cut through the vinyl, but in theory, anybody can get through the glass as well. But, the vinyl vents keep out the elements. They stop the rain. And in some cases, people even put heat and AC units in these rooms where it works very well.
Very interesting. Yeah, I like that. We're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fred, give us your final thoughts, parting words of wisdom. We're coming into our break here.
Well, I tell everybody in this industry that no matter what you do, when you're working with a client, you really need to explain the job. Keep it simple is not a real good option in the construction business because construction is not simple.
Exactly.
You've got to explain the process and request as many questions that customer wants to ask, because the questions not only help the customer, but they help the person selling the job. In case you miss something, they covered it. It's nothing worse in the construction business than have a big surprise come up on the back end.
Exactly.
That's not good, and that happens. So, I talk to my my other fellow workers that do what I do, and we all think the same way. We should cover everything and insist on the customer asking questions. The questions never bothered me, never did at all. I recall when I first purchased a screen room in Florida way back when, I had no clue what it was.
Right.
I asked a lot of questions. The company answered all the questions. The room went up, and it's beautiful. Well, It was back then. It's just that simple.
That's right.
So I can respect that.
Yep, absolutely. An informed consumer is going to be a better consumer for everyone. So awesome. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Reach out to him. Let him know you heard about him right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, Fred, we'll talk to you later, man.
Bye-bye. Take care, Millie.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
All right, coming up, attorney Millie Athanason here in studio. We're going to talk about personal injury law, auto accidents, and the like. Stay with us right here on the show as well. Our feel-good story coming up as well. A police officer adopts a girl he comforted during a welfare call. Pretty cool story right here on our feel-good story of the day. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook. And Platinum MVP Team at KW.com. And we'll be right back after the short break.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty, giving you a real estate market update for Hillsborough County. These are the residential listings available. At the end of October, there were 3,348 residential properties available in Hillsborough County. And out of those 3,348 properties, 2,488 sold. That gives us a 74% absorption rate. That is a high rate of absorption, and it also equals a 1.35 months supply of inventory, equals a strong seller's market. It's a great time to sell right now. Of course, if you're buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. Brandon Rhymes here. My wife Lindsay and I own and operate a top team at Keller Williams Realty. We actually rank in the top 1% of all realtors here in Tampa Bay. Give us a call at 813-670-7372. Free comparable market analysis, 813-670-7372. And check out our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And for our radio show, you can check us out at consumerqb.com, and you can find 80 plus categories, 50 plus show partners at consumerqb.com. And Brandon Rhymes here signing off. Thank you so much. Make it a great day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back, Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the show. We appreciate you more than you know. Our radio family out there, our TV show family, of course, a lot of social media, repurposing of the content on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all those sites. So we'd love to connect with you. Lots of ways that you can engage with us. The hotline, of course, reach out to our hotline. We'd love to connect. It's 813-670-7372. You can call or text that line if you want to reach out or be put in contact with any of our legal analysts or our other expert contributors on the show. We'd love to put you in touch with them. And I can tell you, we're batting 1,000%. Everyone has been pleased with the information we've given them, the connections we've made for them through the show. So we greatly appreciate that. And we'd love to help you with those connections. Shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. This is the year of the pandemic. And, when you look at boosting your immunity, you're putting vitamins into your body. If you talk to Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional value, what they're going to do is hook you up to an IV. They're going to put vitamins, B, C, zinc, all the good stuff in there. Stephen and Lisa Gunnan are the owners. They've got a Gandy location, Carrollwood location, and also a Wesley Chapel location now. And the favorite location that I see on Instagram sometimes is your home. I've seen pictures of people laying out by the pool, sunbathing, taking in that vitamin D from the sun, but also getting vitamins injected right into their bloodstream. So reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. They do make house calls, and let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here. 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue this is up in the Port Richey area. It's right on the river. We've got an acre of land right on the river with, of course, bay access. You can take your boat out into the Gulf of Mexico, go fishing, go sea-doing. 4,200 square feet, a full acre of land. 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue, Newport Richey. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, 12208 Four Oaks Road. This is a development opportunity. Builders, developers, entrepreneurs, investors. 5 acres, up to 40 units potentially to be built right here. Single families. Great opportunity, low inventory right now. People are looking for housing, so this is a great opportunity to get into the real estate space. PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. You can search or buy and see all of our listings there at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, Millie, what are you seeing out there? Attorney Millie Athanason here, law offices of Millicent, Athanason. Athanasonlaw.com is the website.
Yes.
Auto accidents, some things you need to know if it happens to you.
Yes. Well, the one that you had mentioned earlier about the 14-day rule, what that rule is that you need to seek emergency medical treatment or some form of medical treatment within 14 days after the accident in order for you to retain all of your PIP benefits. So your PIP or personal injury protection benefits are $10,000 worth of medical treatment that's usually payable at the rate of 80% of the medical bills and 60% of lost wages. If you don't seek the medical care within that time frame, then what happens is you're going to be limited in the benefits that you receive and may not get any at all. So it's imperative after you've had an accident, if you think that you're injured, that you get to see either go to the emergency room, a walk-in clinic, your family physician, or somebody that can certify that you do have an emergency medical condition that warrants further treatment. And it's kind of funny. A lot of people, when they first have an accident, they think, "Oh, I don't feel that bad. I think I'm gonna be okay."
Exactly.
And then it hits them really bad,
Yeah.
like a week or two later.
Yep.
Well, the problem is, and I'm obviously not a doctor, but what happens is I think when you get hit, all of that adrenaline and the blood flows to those affected areas.
Yes.
So initially you don't really think that you're feeling that bad, but then all of a sudden then everything kind of calms down and then you start really feeling the pain. So if you didn't go and get that treatment or get that evaluation and you then determine, oh, I need further care, well, then you're going to have an issue with that.
Exactly.
So I really think that, you really need to do that. And a lot of people will say, well, I've got health insurance, so what do I need to use my PIP for?
Right.
Well, in our state, PIP is primary. So what that means is that you have to use your PIP benefits first if you're involved in an automobile accident. Your health insurance can actually deny the benefits or not pay for them because PIP is available. And if they do pay for them, they're entitled to be reimbursed for what they paid. So you really want to go ahead and seek that medical care and get the evaluation. And this way, if you need further care, you've got the PIP benefits to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming to a break, but when we come back, more from Attorney Millie Athanason. She's just getting started here. We got a lot to talk about. We might even bring up this whole thing. You might have heard about it, the election stuff going on. We might even talk about the Supreme Court since we have an attorney in studio. It'll be interesting to get her opinion. But stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I implore you to visit our website, consumerqb.com. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Brandon, let me know when you want to proceed. Alrighty, everybody, please stand by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win in any marketplace. Save our hotline number. We would love to connect with you. Give us a call or a text. It's an off-air number, 813-670-7372. It's at 813-670-7372. You can call or text that line. Any questions, comments you have from the show, we're going to get right back to you. ConsumerQB.com is your resource as well. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. They do a great job. Local or long-distance moves. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And a couple of hot listings here for this segment. We got some properties here in Tampa Bay. Lots of great opportunities. Vacant land. I've got single-family homes. We've got some nice condos available. Here's a beautiful condo. It's 213 Dogwood Circle. This is in Pinellas County at 213 Dogwood Circle. This property is unit number 213. It's almost 1,300 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. Lots of updates and upgrades. Beautiful property. 55-plus community, and it's minutes to the beach. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. That is a nice condo unit. 4102 West Sevilla Street. This is a South Tampa beauty. This is a large home in South Tampa. It's a corner lot. Lots of updated areas in the home. Lots of updates. 2,500 square feet, just shy of 2,500 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 3 bath. New wood floors. Custom wine closet. Terracotta porch. Great opportunity. Owners motivated. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, we have the pleasure of having attorney Millie Athanason here in studio, and it truly is a pleasure to talk, personal injury law, different areas of business. We get into some of the stuff going on nationally, even though we're acting locally here. The thing is, we want to be that consumer advocate on a local level and help folks. You do have your website as well, athanasonlaw.com, and when you think about that was great. We talked about the 14-day rule. That's a big deal. If you sometimes kind of, as you were talking about the 14-day rule, I was remembering like football games. Yeah, that night you're like, yeah, I went through a bunch of hits, but I feel good because I won the game, or you have this endorphin release and all that. But then the next day and the day after that, you start feeling worse. So people sometimes have that late kind of onset pain coming in, especially when it's your neck and you get whiplash and things like that. Give us some more examples potentially of consumer advocate tips, or maybe even share a success story of someone that you may have helped represent or in that position. Personal injury law is kind of open to a lot of different things: car accidents, motorcycle, slip and falls. Outside the bar, people got in a big fight and there wasn't enough security, et cetera. Those types of scenarios is what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So one of the questions that you hear a lot is whether or not you should call the police. If I've been in an accident, what do I do? Well, calling the police, obviously, if it's a very severe impact, you definitely want to call the police and get a police report that comes in and describes and also indicates whether people were wearing seat belts. It indicates who's at fault. Somebody's going to get a ticket. They will do all of that, and if it's real bad, they'll also take measurements of skid marks and take photographs in certain circumstances. So calling the police is a good idea. I always tell people, take pictures. Everybody's got a cell phone. It used to be in the day, some people had a cell phone, some people didn't. 5-year-olds have cell phones, And so,
too many. They start too young.
Really,
it's crazy.
So I think that, the first thing you do is take some photographs of the damage.
Right.
It's interesting. Insurance companies love to say that, well, if there's no damage, why you can't be damaged. Well, that is completely false, okay? It's very possible. I mean, a car, they test these cars to withstand impacts.
Yeah.
They don't test people.
Exactly.
People are not built to withstand significant impacts. Cars are built that way, and so when you look at that situation, I don't think that is the all-telling factor. So I think it's important for you to take pictures of the damage to your vehicle. Sometimes the damage isn't visible. Sometimes it's very visible. You could see everything's bent in. You can see things, the glass has been broken or what. Those are obvious. But a lot of times, some of the damage that's underneath, if the frame's bent or something like that,
right,
you're not going to necessarily see that right off the bat.
Yeah,
so,
it can be a totaled vehicle. Just like when you look at the vehicle, you're like, wow, it doesn't look totaled. But if the frame is bent, it's really almost beyond repair.
Absolutely. So you definitely want to take photographs of whatever damage that you can see. Also, too, if you have any bruising anywhere on your person, I always recommend taking pictures of that as well, because as you know, bruises heal with time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they may not be as visible by the time the person goes to the doctor, even though they're going within that 14-day time frame.
Right.
So any marks on you or anything like that, you definitely want to take pictures of. If the airbag's deployed, there's a very good chance you can have some facial damage or something like that. You definitely want to get the pictures of that. So photographs are key. If somebody's made any statements, if the people in the other vehicle come over and tell you, I'm so sorry, I screwed up, I didn't mean it, obviously you want to recall that or jot that down. You can even tell the officer that when he came that, they apologized or what have you.
Well, that'd be a good one to get on film, wouldn't it? Would you say that again? Let me record that one real quick.
Well, and in a lot of cases, you can just definitely tell by the look and the placement of the vehicles that,
right,
who is at fault. Sometimes it's not that obvious. And people, a lot of people, unfortunately, because I've been doing this, over 30 years now, they have a tendency to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
And then when the officers arrive, they have a new tune.
Yeah. All of a sudden, they're looking at an authoritative officer, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't have said what I said 3 minutes ago.
Yes, exactly. So then they'll try to backpedal and come up with things that, I didn't know. No, they did this and they did that. You know? So you definitely want to record as much of the pictures and everything and the damage. If there's glass in the street, skid marks, anything. The
scene.
Yes, anything at the scene that you can take pictures of is certainly helpful. If your vehicle was pushed, for example, and wound up at a certain place, let's say on the other side of the street because of the rotation or what have you,
right,
you want to take pictures of that and show that, look, this is where my vehicle went. I got pushed, and it was obviously it was at a high rate of speed, because how would my vehicle wind up on the other side of the intersection?
Yeah,
that type of a thing. So you do want to take that and have that. As many things as you can remember, try to jot down, because unfortunately, even those with the best memories, our memories dim with time.
Yeah, exactly.
Things that are horrible today, a year from now may not seem as horrible.
That's a big point. And if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Personal injury law is our topic of conversation today. Law offices of Millicent Athanason here in studio. And that's a great point. One of the things that our broker does with Keller Williams Realty, we got about 500 agents at our office. And I applaud them for this, because each year they make you do a risk aversion class, because there's so many new agents coming in, and some of the veterans are like, oh, I got to do this again, but we do it. Of course, it's good to kind of refresh. But one of the big things is when you have, like as you just mentioned, our memory as a human being, if we're doing 5, 10, 15 deals a month, we're not going to remember that one deal from 6 months ago, 8 months ago, where the contractor, for example, may have said, oh, yeah, well, that structure is a wood frame and it's going to need this or that. And then you're negotiating a deal with the buyer agent and you're just verbally relaying things. No. You got to, when you get for example, if the buyer or the buyer says, hey, I want that repaired or that replaced and et cetera, not just covered up with Stucco, if you get into a situation, if you put that into an email, so the big takeaway here is if you have a verbal conversation, follow up with the person in email. Hey, via our phone conversation today in the afternoon, we spoke about this. You said you would do this. This is what we agreed to, etc. That way it's in writing. You remember it 8 months ago.
Right. Well, I do, when I meet with a client for the first time, and I meet with every client individually, I don't shove that off on my paralegal or what have you. I actually, and I tell them, I'm like, I hope you don't mind, I'm going to jot down some notes because our memories dim over time. So while you're talking and telling me what happened, I'm going to jot that down. And that's helpful because God forbid, they wind up in litigation or something like that. We have notes of what, in case their memory dims or whatever, we can review the facts of the accident. And I've got the notes there. And also when I'm dealing with the insurance companies, it's really good to have those notes as to what was said right at the outset. And I find that information extremely helpful. And you would be surprised with clients, they forget.
Yep.
You've got so many other things going on in your life, and when you hire a lawyer, you expect your lawyer to have that information readily available for you.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important, and that's one of the reasons I do that. I don't always necessarily put that in an email to the client, but I definitely do keep a record of it. Usually with emails, I'm always following up with instructions, make sure you do this, make sure you do, that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
So that people don't forget. Because, even though you hire a lawyer, I can't go to your medical appointments for you.
Right.
And I can't remember to tell the doctor everything that's, wrong. That's something the patient has to do.
Yep.
So that, we have to work as a team, essentially.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a teamwork scenario because it's going to be a 6-8 month, a year more process when you're dealing with. I went through one not long ago as well.
Yes.
So it is a challenging time. When we come back, let's talk about. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in downtown Tampa, or the city of Tampa receiving $67.3 million. We'll talk a little bit about the expansion of the downtown streetcar project. Our feel-good story of the day as well. Police officer adopts a girl that he comforted during a welfare call. And then we're going to talk more with attorney Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show and have some parting words of wisdom and nuggets of advice. So we'll be right back. Check us out online, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, talking about Pasco County real estate, giving you your market update for all things residential real estate right here in Tampa Bay. The number of active listings in Pasco County at the end of October, 1,588 properties available for sale. Out of those 1,588, there were 1,302 that sold. You divide those two numbers, that's an 82% absorption rate in Pasco County. Very high absorption rate. And that also equals a 1.22 month supply of inventory. Super low inventory, which equals a strong seller's market here in Tampa Bay in Pasco County, as you probably already heard if you're talking to friends out in the real estate space. Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team. I would love to talk to you if you're buying, selling, or investing. We offer a free comparable market analysis. If you want to get a value on your home, give us a call, 813-670-7372. You can call or text 813-670-7372. And make sure you check out our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And our radio show website is consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our 50-plus expert contributors for the Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, helping you win buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you right here in Tampa Bay. We want to be your number one choice. We're a top-ranked team. We're ranked in the top 1% of all realtors in Tampa Bay, so we'd love to talk to you. PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com is the website. And every day we're going to tell you something good in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is where the police officer adopts a girl he comforted during welfare call. In 2018, Lieutenant Brian Zach was working a patrol as a sergeant when he came to a call to check Kayla's residence. Kayla, 4, is a survivor of abuse, and Zach spent that evening bonding with her. We colored, we snacked. She held my hand, and she was just this little cute little thing. Once detectives came, they picked her up and took her to the hospital. After spending hours with Kayla, Zach went home and told his wife about her. During that time, Kayla was being treated for multiple injuries as a result of physical abuse. Child Protective Services could not find an immediate placement for Kayla, so Zach stepped in. Zach and Kayla immediately said Kayla became a part of the family, and, quote, she's happy and flourished. And we got to know her. When we got to know her, she knew 3 words. Basically, she grunted like a caveman. She didn't know how to talk, and now she loves to talk. Zach and his wife fostered Kayla for 2 years, and, quote, we lived each week not knowing if she was going to go back to her biological parents or how long we were going to get to keep her. On August 18th, 30 months after she came into care, Zach officially adopted Kayla. And Zach's message to families who are considering adoption is not to be afraid of the process because it's well worth it. Pretty cool story there, Millie.
It is a cool story. And that is a hard thing for foster parents, thinking about it. You know, if you've had a child in your home for 2 years, thinking about having to give them back. I mean, obviously you understand going in that there's always that possibility.
Yeah.
But understanding that and actually experiencing it can be, you know, 2 different things.
Absolutely. I can just imagine, you know, the attachment that you get as a human being, especially to a cute little adorable, you know, kid. It's a tough one. So we got attorney Millie Athanason here in studio as well, and let's talk about this briefly. The city of Tampa received $67.3 million towards the expansion of its downtown streetcar project. The funding would go to providing more modernized vehicles and expanding the streetcar service to areas including USF and Tampa International Airport. It says that this is the largest transit funding the award has ever given to the Tampa Bay region, says the FDOT Secretary David Gwynn. Pretty cool, you know, modernizing, expanding it over to USF and Tampa International Airport. Like I said before, you know, hopefully more people use these things, and we're not bringing them in and not being able to utilize them.
Yeah, that would be great if they included places like the airport and not just, you know, the local Ybor City area, because maybe it would promote more usage and it would take some traffic off the roads.
That's what we need.
Yeah, because if we've been sitting on I-4 any time in the morning, we know that's a disaster.
Malfunction junction over there. Yeah,
Right.
I-4, 275, that whole, man. Yeah, that makes for a lot of sense. People staying downtown, they can shoot to the airport when they're ready to leave, watch the Super Bowl coming up here in Tampa Bay. And, so $67.3 million. Be a nice shot in the arm for injection of cash into Tampa Bay. So I just hope they use it right. I just hope it gets product that we need. So back to our regularly scheduled program here. Attorney Millie Athanason in studio. And what other tips do you think come to mind? We're talking about personal injury law. You do other areas of law as well.
Yes. I do handle family law cases as well, but I primarily handle personal injury work. And one of the questions, I'm trying to come up with things that people ask me questions about a lot so that hopefully this will be helpful. One of the things that I get asked a lot is, okay, well, I've been in a car wreck, and should I have the other insurance company pay for it, or should I have my insurance company pay for it? Because I have a deductible. Well, yes, you may have a deductible, and you do have a choice. A lot of times your own insurance company may respond quicker as long as you have the comprehensive collision coverage under your policy. Comp collision is not a mandatory coverage in the state of Florida, whereas property damage is. So what that means is that when you cause damage to someone else's vehicle, that's property damage coverage. When you've been involved in an accident and it's your own vehicle, that's where you use the comprehensive collision, or we call comp and collision or whatever.
Yeah.
So essentially what happens is if you have a deductible and let's say your insurance company fixes it, they're going to subrogate against the other insurance carrier. And as part of that subrogation claim, of course, they're going to be asking back for the money that they paid to repair your vehicle. But in addition to that, they're going to recover your deductible as well and return that to you. So that's what's supposed to happen. And if they don't do it, we certainly do remind them that they need to do that.
Nicely remind them, I'm
yes,
sure.
a friendly reminder, right? But yes, so it's no harm in using your own coverage to repair the vehicle. And, a lot of people will also ask, well, whoa, wait a minute. Is that going to affect my insurance rates going forward? Well, certainly if it's your fault, yes, that's going to definitely happen. Can't help that. And also, too, under our rules in the state of Florida, if you've had so many accidents within a 12-month period, your rates can increase anyway. The way I look at it, and I always tell people, your rates are going up no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you didn't have an accident.
Everybody else is.
Everybody's rates are going up.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you see your rates come down. Now, I do know, in all fairness to the carriers, some of them this past year gave back rebates and things like that because of the COVID situation. But overall, we seldom, if ever, see rates go down. But are they going to necessarily hold that against you because you were a victim of an accident? No.
Yeah. By the way, good quick endorsement here. If you are shopping for insurance, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance is who we recommend. Talk to Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, longtime friend of the program. And one thing probably worth mentioning is underinsured motorists and uninsured motorists. That's a big thing because a lot of people don't have that.
That is correct. And in Florida, I think that's key because in most states, they have mandatory coverage for liability. Okay, Florida does not have mandatory coverage for personal liability. So in other words, if somebody hits you, they may or may not have coverage to cover that. What uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage does is if the other person that hits you that caused this accident either doesn't have any liability coverage or what we call bodily injury liability coverage,
right,
or they don't have enough. And by that, I mean, you've got $50,000 worth of injuries and they only have a 1020 policy.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what underinsured covers. And uninsured means they don't have any BI coverage.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important, particularly in the state of Florida, to have that on your policy. A lot of times they'll tell you you don't need it, it's not necessary, it costs too much. But by all means, whatever you can afford to put on your policy, put it on there. Florida,
it's important.
It's a transient state here. We get people coming in and out from all over. I always joke that we know it's the change of seasons when you see different license plates on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Like the change of leaves, but the change of license
plates.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think for that very reason, since you don't know who's got what out there, you can't assume that the Coca-Cola truck is going to hit you. You have to assume that somebody that doesn't have any insurance is going to hit you. So you need to have protection and coverage for yourself in those circumstances.
That's right. Athanasonlaw.com, ATHANASON law.com, Athanasonlaw.com.
Yes.
Attorney Millie Athanason here in studio. All right, so let's talk about the national stuff.
Okay. All right.
What do you think is going to happen? Texas filing suit against other states, trying to get into the Supreme Court. I guess it's going to be heard. What do you think is going to happen there? I guess 17 other states also joined in on that suit. And how do you look at that? We got about a minute left.
Okay. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere because, again, they have to prove widespread voter fraud. And I haven't heard one peep from anyone as to what this widespread alleged voter fraud is. And so unless they come up with some evidence of that, I don't know how they're going to be able to get that through. The states have now all certified their votes as of yesterday. Was it December 8th?
What about the video? There's a video showing people pulling ballots out and they're going to count them and nobody's in the room. Does that not count? Or are they saying that's a fake video or something?
Yeah, there's some of them are saying a fake video. Some of them are saying that they pulled them out, and it doesn't mean that just because they were pulled out that they weren't going to be counted. Again, I think the burden is on the person alleging the fraud to prove that the fraud actually occurred. on some widespread level. The states have already certified their election results, all of them, and the Electoral College is set to meet. And I think this is a last-ditch effort by the Trump campaign to try to reverse that and get, if you will, a do-over on the election results.
Be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think so.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Awesome.
you for having
Great
me.
stuff. My pleasure. And check her out at athanasonlaw.com. That's Millie Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Longtime friend of the program, personal injury law, some family law as well. And hey, another great show. I want to thank our expert contributor as well, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and you for watching our show. See us online, consumerqb.com, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.